Alrighty, just checking my sound here. All right, let me know in Zoom if you can see and hear. Let's see, everything looks correct to me. All right, see and hear. All right, I see a few people starting to come in. Get myself situated. All right. Yeah, Bill, it's a live stream. I do this a little different on Tuesdays and Thursdays, at least for now. It's a different stream key than what Barry's normally going with. I'm actually on Zoom as well. And if you'd like to join the Zoom side of things, you can do that here as well. So Michael, Bill, anybody else that's over on the YouTube side of things, if you want to join Zoom, that's the link. That should get you in right away. Looks like it's going to be another low turnout, 90 signups, and so far 3 people. So we push on all the same. As it stands right now, I'm going to enable everybody's mic that wants to talk. All right. That's right. Your mic doesn't go. Always got to remember that. So like I said, anybody that's in the YouTube side, if you want to join Zoom, there's the link for you in YouTube. Come over and join. For those of you that want, I've enabled your mics in Zoom. The way I'm trying to do this is if it's a ton of people, we're going to go with a syllabus. I'm going to go over some thoughts of my own for taking a direction for software. At the numbers that we are, we'll leave it an open Q&A. I'll let you folks drive it whatever way you want. If you're not asking questions, you're not, engaging, I'll do my best to keep it informative, whether, I'll go over some scanning thoughts, market thoughts, chart thoughts, whatever it is. So, but you folks, the chat panel that's there, take it away in that. If you don't want to talk, if you want to talk in anyways for you that are in Zoom, by all means, unmute yourself and have at it. And, we can demonstrate, we can discuss things. I don't have all the answers, but if you ask a question, I'll certainly do the best I can answering that, and we'll do what we can from there. Rachel, can you hear me? No, there's 2 other people with you in Zoom, and there's a few people that are on the YouTube side of the stream. The other thing with YouTube is you're going to be like 10 seconds, 15 seconds behind where we are in Zoom. Zoom's a little more live. So Rachel, if you can confirm that you can hear me. So Mike, allow to talk. So you just flipped over to here. I tried to build view op scan with someone on this stream, but I did not save it to the cloud. Now I can't find what that configuration was. That was going to probably be me, Bill. I delete everything I don't use a few days after I create it. Let's see if I've got anything VWAP-y here. Oh, so you might have been when we were doing that VWAP time of day thing. Well, that was actually during the noon session. Well, here's something that I created. It's a multi-window for VWAP, and it's done by only alerting at certain times of the day based on some back tests that we were running. So check that out. And you could always pop those out and take out the time of day filter. And I know, so Shannon said they can see me and hear me. Trader Joe and Mike, if you can see and hear, can you chime in? All right. So, Rachel, if you're having trouble, check here. Go where your microphone stuff is here. If you're following, look, you can't even hear me, so I'm talking for no reason. Type this out. All right. Thanks, Mike C. Appreciate that. So, all right. Sorry, let's get all systems go on the YouTube channel. All right. Let's get this moving. So, was that Bill mentioned this VWAP scanner. So this is what I just shared. This scanner here. It's a multi-window. You can even make it a little nicer and reshare it out, I guess. Properties, text headers. Let's see something. Still a bug. Ugh, so annoying. All right. So I created two strategies on here, or three strategies, excuse me. And they only go off during certain times of the day. And this was based on some back testing I did. So I'm going to go to the original alert window, which is essentially this here. All right. Configure, right click. All right. And if you notice, I've got this time of day filter in here that's saying after 89 minutes after the open. All right, perfect. Glad to hear, Rachel. And you're so Rachel, your mic is unmute. If you want to talk, you can talk. You can unmute yourself. All right. When we're going with such a small crowd like this on the Zoom side, I'm enabling people's mics to get their money's worth out of these sessions, essentially. What I'm demonstrating right now is this VWAP scanner, because someone in our YouTube channel, Bill, said that we'd done one a couple of weeks ago or sometime shortly ago. I don't know if it was this VWAP scanner. I do so many scanners, build so many scanners for people that ask. I just can't keep track of all of them. But so what I did was I built this VWAP scanner to give the backstory here. And then we did some back testing on it and saw at certain times during the optimization that the scanner worked better at certain times of the day than others. So we cut out those times that it didn't work well with this time of day filter. And so we turned one scanner into three scanners essentially, and then loaded them all into a multi-strategy window based on going off after certain times. So the original window would just be this with no time of day filtering in. This is what we built. Stocks were at least $4 in price, 200,000 shares traded on the day minimum, relative volume of 1.5. They had to be up from the previous day's close and up from today's open. And then they could be no more than they had to be between 0.1 and 0.5 above the VWAP. So we're hovering around the VWAP, all right, on the alerts. And that's all we did in this scan here, right? And so if I click OK, what I did was I ran the back test on it. This is how I did this. Strange. This is not at all. Okay, I see what happened here. We didn't really add much risk management to it. We opened it wide up. How much do I want for what? I'm not sure what you mean, Mike. So I ran a back test on the scanner basically as it was. How do you find the scanner? I'll share it with you right now. I'm sorry, I shared it in the copy link. I shared it in YouTube and I forgot to share it here. So this is not going to work right. Technology, I tell you. File. Load from cloud. Gee, I wonder if I have the right stuff here now. All right, I'm sharing this link of the scanner from the cloud. And it's not like these are some magic scanners, you know, it's idea generation. Everything is idea generation. Nothing's going to say, hey, buy this stock right now. Everything is show me stocks that I'm interested based on what I want to look at, whether it's a VWAP or an RSI or some combination of those indicators and oscillators, you know, so on and so forth. So I just shared that there. So I did here was, you know, I ran this back test and I said, all right, how can we just do some simple optimization? And we took the optimization tab in the back test. We went to time of day. We did 5-minute intervals, if I remember correctly here. And, you know, we found where the scanner was working better at different times of the day. And this doesn't seem to be exactly what I want here. Let me take a look here at these other ones that I put in here. Go to open alert window, configure. Interesting. So I feel like something's missing here from what I was doing. Maybe we'll just start from a fresh, from a new on this. VWAP, VWAP, VWAP. What's the difference here? Can't be any difference. All right. Sorry, just reading these here. No, Peter, I don't think that. I think a lot of back testing is done more for day traders, to be honest with you, as far as our software goes. So, all right, I'm going to try to work off this base scanner here. I'm trying to figure there's something I did to make this a little nicer in these back tests. But I'll be darned if I can remember what I did at this point. So forgive me while I'm, you know, getting hung up on this a little bit here. Run the back test here like this, back test. See, because this is start time and exit time of 10:01. I don't understand why it's doing that to me here. I want to open this up. And exited. I don't think we put any risk management. I guess it didn't save my odds maker configuration. That must have been what happened. Sorry, I'm talking to myself a little bit here. And again, everybody that's in, allowed to talk, sorry, everybody that's in Zoom, you're unmuted. Allow to talk. Yeah, you can't allow to talk. All right, allow to talk. Asked unmute. All right, so trying to just get this back down again. Just trying to illustrate something with back testing and building scans. Because what I'm trying to illustrate here is you could have a scan that is great from, let's say, 9:45 a.m. Eastern to 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And then it falls apart after 10:30, but then all of a sudden at 2:30 Eastern, it works great again. So instead of getting those junk alerts in the middle, all right, we cut those out with the time of day filter is what I've done. And then we can take that scanner, and even though all the filters are the same, except for the time of day filter, we can stick them in a multi-window. And so it's like we took that one scanner and cut it up in that time of day to give us just the best time of day results. So we can see what happened here, right? You know, 351 trades. We can see that, you know, on the daily here, this is where I wanted to go. All right. So what I did, you know, is this scan only works from 125 minutes after the open to 139 minutes after the open. That's it, just that one small chunk of the day. All right. So each one of these windows they're looking at breaking the scans apart like that in these 3 strategies. And then again, after 225 minutes after the open. So I'm going to the individual alert windows within inside of this. And we're just running the back test again to see how this looks. And what we're trying to do is take the idea generation we have and get it down to our best quality of time in the optimization of this. And you can do this with any scan, and it doesn't just have to be time of day. We can do this with price and so on and so forth. So again, please make sure you keep an open mind and don't get pigeonholed into the one thing that I'm showing here, because that's something I did very early on. As I said, oh, I saw this one thing that Steve or Andy or Jamie or whoever I was learning from did, and I just keep pounding on that one door that they were on, when there's a lot of doors to be pounding on based on so many other factors. But again, run the back test, and again, this is all the same filters, but all I've done is change the time of day that it can initiate trades in between, okay? And so it's taking those filters and doing it like that. Now it looks like this is no longer working very well. All right, there it goes, shooting up at the end. That's interesting. So one big day got us there. You know what I think I did not do was open this way up. Advanced. Nope, we didn't open it up for the full 64 days. And when you're back testing, personally, I think you want to keep it maximum amount of days, unless you're back testing based on symbol lists. That's a completely other topic, though. That's exactly a perfect circle. Anything you can do to enhance the alerts that are coming through. Now, remember, when I ran the first back tests on this, this must have been a week ago yesterday. It looked different then. We've had a whole week of data add to this and a whole week of data roll off of this. So there was, 6, 7 trading days that were on this from the past that are no longer on there. And there's 6, 7 trading days that just happened that are now on this. Now, things that I want to point out with backtesting and optimizing, all right? Equity curves are nice, but I want you to notice that when you have a big up move like this, it's going to be one day that did that, okay? And now if I go, so this is the equity curve on the summary there. Now watch what happens when I go to the daily. Notice that we have 2 huge days that made that, all right? What we want to see is an even spread of green days, or nice spread, more green days, and evenly kind of spread out as far as how well they did versus the red days. But the red days aren't overwhelming here either, and then we can notice here, most winning days, most losing days in a row, so on and so forth. And this is how we can, back test and forward test and optimize scans like this, all right? So what I did is, there's the base strategy that's in here. You're all welcome to come in and, you have the base strategy that's in there. Any one of these, you go right click strategy. You can pop out any one of these and simply get rid of the time of day filter in here, all right? Where are you, time of day filter? You can simply get rid of that filter, all right? And then that's how you can do it like that, all right? And again, we can back test this here. This is just going from, half an hour after the open to just short of 90 minutes after the open. It's initiating trades just in that time. That's it. And so what we did was we took, we cut out the ugly parts of the day. We're going to start and we're going to build something together right now. All right. And do something very similar to this, but we're going to do it a little different than just with VWAP. All right. We're going to start a brand new scan. And again, I see a few more people are popping in to Zoom. So if you are in Zoom and you want to ask a question, you're more than welcome to. All right. So look at this. Now this back tested so well last week. Now with that week of data that got added to it, didn't look so good. Look on the daily chart. Look what happened on all these days coming back. Now let's also keep in mind market conditions. When you're on a long scan and the market looks like this here, why are you doing that? Okay. And the SPY, and the Qs, they all look like this garbage in here that we just had just happened. I don't care what your long scan is. Generally speaking, it's not going to look good. That's just a fact of life. All right. And look how many, days of data that we just got rocked on after that happened, so here's today. That doesn't count because we won't be able to back test today's data until tomorrow, so we've got that day. with this big tail that came down, probably looked real ugly. All right. We got this bad down day. We got this bad down day. We've got this wick to up day like that, giving us a middle finger right there. So keep these things in mind. Things are going to be relative to the market environment and the scanner that you're looking at. A scanner that, based on a 5-minute hold and is doing well, probably holds up better in a choppy market environment than something that's based on a 60-minute hold, a 90-minute hold, a 2-day hold to the long side in that sense. All right. So I'm going to close all this stuff here. All right. Because I don't, I want a little less noise for everybody as we build this out. And again, fire some questions here. So Freddie, hi, having issue with one-click buy buttons, not consistently working. I have the beta update, new order. Who should I contact for help? Freddie, if you can send support files, I'm kind of the person that does that, but I do that usually not in the webinars like this. Go help, send files to support. After you've done that, send an email to support@trade-ideas.com and say, my one-click strategies aren't working. Tell me the name of the one-click strategy at trade-ideas.com. Tell me everything that's going on and say, I sent the files to support per Chris's request. And I'll take a look back there. 99% of the time when someone's strategies aren't working, the one-click strategies, if you go to strategies, right-click, edit strategy, you've not set the account here. You have to set the account in all of them. All right. So you got to first, setting up trading from Brokerage Plus works twofolds. One is connect the broker. So for this, I'm going to connect to the simulator. So the simulator is now connected. We can see connected up here, connection to Trade Idea Simulated Trading. But if I go to edit strategy, look, no account. I need to not only connect to the broker, I got to tell it the account to connect to. All right. So account, why are you not seeing the simulator? There we go. So it just hadn't loaded there yet. So, and you got to select your account, whether it's a simulator or your IB account or your E-Trade account. But that's going to be 99% of it, Freddie. The other thing too is if you're trying to trade off the charts, right click, save as default chart short, or long strategy, whatever it is. All right. And that's, also needs to be done like that too. So, multiple ways that things have to be connected for that. Hopefully that gets you some of what you're looking for. Let's get into some scan building here. All right. So, let's get rid of these races. They're out of the way. We don't need our Market Explorer. I'll leave these windows for now. So let's build from scratch. I'll go new alert window. You can see me do that, but all right, new and alert window. My default alert windows look like this. This is what I did one day. I took an alert window and I killed all the settings inside it. And I set it up so it's always looking at this crossed above resistance alert. That's one of the ones that I like when I'm building alert windows. And then I went to the summary, I named it new alert. And then after I did that, I clicked and I said right click and save as default. And that means every time I start a new alert window, it's blank, completely blank on the filters and just the columns that I chose in the configure. And this is what it looks like, so you can do that same thing, when you're ready. All right, you got it, Freddie. Also, remember, anytime you make a change in Brokerage Plus, save it to your default layout as well. If you don't save it to your default layout, those settings won't stick. But send me those files and send me the email saying you sent the files. Give me as much detail as you can. I clicked this strategy, it's not working, and I can look on the back end what happened there. But I can't do it on screen here because I don't, it'll have information in there. I don't want to let out to the whole world on screen. So we're going to start here. And what kind of window do we want to build? Let's build, something that I'm always kind of big on is building a window that says we're off the highs of the day, but we're moving back up again. All right. So I think a great set of alerts to do that with are the crossed above resistance alert. Also, as I'm using terms here, if someone doesn't understand what's the difference between an alert and a filter, what is an alert window? Please fire those questions at me. It's, it's fine to stop me for that. If you don't have context, what I'm teaching you doesn't make sense. Our software is super in depth. You stick with me, you make 10 of these with me, these live sessions in a row, and you're going to be off to the races with this stuff without a question. All right. So, all right, making sure everybody can talk again if they want to. Backtesting needs something to trigger for an entry. So your trigger in the backtesting for the entry is going to be that crossed above resistance, any of these alerts. So all alerts are going to be indicated by the single icon that looks like this. Some of them you'll see have what we call alert filters attached to them. Some won't. So as we scroll down, you can see here, market locked, large spread. Those don't have alert filters attached to them. These are events, all right? Standard deviation breakout, standard deviation breakdown, cross daily high resistance, so on and so forth. These are all alerts. They're events. Boom, this thing happened. Versus filters, as we scroll down, have these dual icons set to them, indicating minimum on this side and maximum values. And then you can see what units they're working in. And those are just going to be minimum and maximum values of those filters. So again, an alert is something like this, crossed above resistance. So we have an algorithm that looks back and it says, hey, price has been gathering here. This is what we're considering resistance. That's what the algorithm does. And as soon as it crosses that, what the algorithm has determined as a resistance, it says, boom, it did this. Then we take the filters and we say it twofold. Okay, well, you crossed above resistance, but I don't want to see stocks that are only $1. I want to see stocks that are $5 between $100. And that's how the price filter works. And then we say, well, I want to make sure something's liquid. Now, everybody has a different idea of what liquid means, but maybe we'll go with 250,000 shares as liquid for the day. All right. So now we're saying, okay, my event is this crossed above resistance. And after it crosses what the algorithm determines as resistance, I want to make sure that I'm only looking at stocks between $5 and $100, and they have to trade 250,000 shares on the day. And I want it now. These happen to all be ones that I have in here as my default setup. All right. But relative volume is really great for, especially for day trading. It'll help to understand what all these items mean too. So I think a price range is obvious. Volume and shares today traded, that's obvious. Relative volume is not so obvious. Thinkorswim's relative volume is not the same as our relative volume, which is not going to be the same as TC2000, which is not going to be the same as anybody else that has a market scanner. Our relative volume works like this, okay? Our relative volume says we're taking a 10-day average and breaking it into a ratio, okay? Where 1 means normal, 2 means 2 times, 3 means 3 times the amount of volume. 0.5 would mean it's doing half that volume. Relative volume also is a live filter. So for example, if I put a 2 in here and I now say, okay, this is my alert, all right, we're done. I built this alert. And right now I can tell you that as Aqua came in, AQUA, it came in, at that second, it had a relative volume of 2.89, time stamped right there. That's how this worked in that scan, all right? Now let's pretend this happened at 2 o'clock this afternoon, okay? And then all of a sudden, AQUA stopped trading for the rest of the day. In my single stock window, which I'm gonna bring up a single stock window, I would then see symbol linking to all. I would then see a decline here, all right? So look, volume is surging into this right now. Look at that 1 minute volume coming in, all right? And that's how much volume surging in. That when this alert went off, the relative volume was 2.89. And now the relative volume has already climbed that much. So that's what happened at this timestamp. Relative volume continues to update and move up. So that's where relative volume is super powerful, okay? The fact that, boom, at this time it was doing this. So we know that we are on track to do this based on that time. If volume slows down, updating in our single stock window, relative volume is going to move down. And if volume does what it's doing right here, it's going bonkers off the chart. This in a percent, 4,100%, that means it's doing 41 times what it normally does in 1 minute volume over the last 10 days for a 1 minute volume percent. So all of our volumes intraday whether their ratio or percentage are going to be on a 10-day average as well to help you out in your scan building. So I see questions are coming in. Let's jump to those. How do I trade in the simulator? So yeah, you're just going to bring over the brokerage plus window here. You're going to go connect to the simulator here. All right. And that's really it. You know, once you're in the simulator, oops, in the positions tab, you'll click account, you'll select the simulated trading, and you're going to do it like any other broker setup in here, you know, buy, you know, or well, first you got to stupid logic order. You got to select, are you going to limit or a market order? You click your buy, you're going to select how many shares you want, you know, and then, you know, you'll click send, and that's it right there. And that's the short and skinny of how that goes there. Probably need to do an updated video on this, but that's really it as far as the simulator goes. You're simply going to open a new brokerage plus, you know, you're going to come to new, you're going to come to brokerage plus. All right. You'll click that. You'll get this window here. You're going to connect to Trade Ideas Simulator. All right. And you're going to connect that account there, and that's it. You know, real simple from there. And then of course, you know, piggyback on that if you need some more information there, and I'll circle back to that. So can the difference between, okay, so I think I covered, so let me know, Rachel, because I was going over some of the differences between alerts and filters and some of the stuff with the windows. Let me know if I didn't answer anything that you were asking in the chat panel, or you need me to cover more in depth, because I think I covered at least some of your questions.
Yeah, no, I understood that. I wanted to know how I can find that window, the single stock window. I forgot what.
Oh, sure. So everything new. All right. You come here, go to new, that S, single stock window. And I always equate it to, now not everybody collected baseball cards like I was a kid, but it's giving you the stats of any stock live when you click on it, essentially. And like everything else in Trade Ideas, right click. So you right click this, you can come to configure, and we can add and take away any columns that we want. So, you know, your columns are here. The selected means what I'm actually displaying. Over here are some ones that you've either recently looked at or they're popular ones you've been using. And so you can move things left to right to get rid of them. If you don't see a column, but you want it. So for example, if we wanted, you know, held by insiders, I know it's a filter that we have. So I can see held by insiders. I click that and I go show column. And now, boom, it's going to be in here for me. And then we can also order the columns. Just keep in mind there's spacing limitations based on, you know, the size of the window, how you have it here, and you know, the columns and rows, how they're going to shake out. In the configure, it'll only go to 2 like you see here. But if you start to space this out a lot, it wants to go like a 3rd column. You'll see our 4th column like that. So just keep in mind things have to do with relative spacing and items like that. But anything new you ever want to start, new, you want a new chart right here, compare count windows, you know, all these things like this. I know I could go over all this stuff for 1,000 years and you would still not get it all, because I don't have every single in and out of Trade Ideas. But you folks asking questions makes me always learn more about the software itself. And, you know, I do dive pretty deep into it. So don't hesitate, any questions, please. And that's why, you know, it's a small crowd that's showing up to Zoom. Like I said, 90 people signed up. There's 8 of you here right now. So that's why I'm unmuting people's mics, because I want you to get, listen, you staying as a Trade Idea subscriber is my goal, but you're only going to stay that way if you're getting educated and learning to use the software for what you want. So don't hold back. And yes, you can use the simulator, Chandru. You can absolutely use the simulator. Anybody can use it. What you can't do with the standard is automate. That's what you can't do. But you can manually trade live, no problem. All right. So let me get that out of the way. And I know I'm kind of like going all over the place, but you know, this is good stuff. Hopefully people are getting a lot out of this. So we were back building. Let me make sure that perfect. Looks good. Is there a commodity and commonality in stocks that did not work that was based on entry? Yeah, so you can find commonalities that didn't work by doing this in the back test, and this starts to go into some pretty deep optimization stuff here. But if we run just a simple back test here, what you can start to drill down into is this. Now, this gets into some really heavy work, all right? But there's the calendar here, all right? And so let's go back and we can look at it at any day here, and I can double click on the calendar and I can get everything, the entry time and the entry price, how I set it up for shares taken and things like that, all right? And so I can try to start to look at commonalities in what the losers were in any of those here to start with, all right? Then you can take that a step further when you come into the optimization part of this, and we can go to other filters, and we can start to dive down into individual filters, whether I'm using it in the scanner or not. So for example, I can look at a 60-minute RSI and see how that affected, and I can change those intervals to 2. And then I can see based on price ranges and items like that. So look, here's the 60-minute RSI, and here's what it was doing in each one of these sections. So when the 60-minute RSI was between 10 and 12, for example, this is how many trades happen, the percent of the trades of the total strategy. And like I said, you can go nuts on this stuff. So just to give you a taste of what you can do there, Daniel, will you provide URLs to TI scans and filters you were discussing? Yes. Anything that anybody that works for Trade Ideas discusses, we will share any of that, assuming that we thought it was deemed worthy and kept it in our cloud. So you can always ask for any of those cloud links to any of our scans. We're always happy to share those with you. If you're looking for what the filters are and things like that, definitions, we have an actual definitions page. I am trying to work on updating this because some of it doesn't cover things as well as I wish it did. So for example, what I was going over with the relative volume filter, the fact that that's a 10-day average, we don't cover that well, unfortunately. So if I right click this filter here and I go to help, I get this page here and it'll bring me directly to relative volume. It's up here. All right, going into all this. Unfortunately, what it doesn't tell you is that it was a 10-day average. All right. Just know for everybody that's here moving forward, if it's an intraday volume filter, 10-day is the average, no matter what it is, okay? Some are done in percents, some are done in ratios, but that's how it works. So if it's a percent, 100 means normal, 200 2 times, 300 3 times, 50 would mean it's doing half of what it normally does over 10 days. Ratio, 1 is normal, 2 is 2 times, 3 is 3 times, 0.5 would be half of what is normal. So, that covers that. All of the filters and alerts that we have are listed here on this page. And again, if you go to any one of these, if we're in the search even, if I click on new high, I can either go help here and it'll bring this over, all right? And there it tells me what new high is, so on and so forth. Or, I can right click it and I can go help like that. And again, it brings me right to whatever I'm looking for directly to that link. Some alerts have filters attached to them. So to go into some of these, if I go to, for example, in selected alerts, we see crossed above resistance has hours of trading. Well, what does that mean? If I go to the help, again, this isn't done. I wish this was done differently, but this was done in a land before my time. It goes to the definition of what the actual alert is looking for. But if we scroll down on this page, we'll come to what we call alert filters. And it should be popping up right now. Okay. Alert specific filters. And this is where it goes into what the filters, what this field here is looking for. So I discussed with you that this has an hours of trading algorithm in it, or excuse me, a resistance algorithm. It goes back the algorithm and says, where's price gathering? And we're considering that resistance. Well, I can tell it, look back a certain amount of hours, and this is how that works, okay? Whoops. So if we find that here, make sure I match it up with the right one. Da, 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 da. So this is it here. We can see by the icon here, this icon here, matching this icon here. And all of these alerts have the same type of filter. So our fibs and our few pattern recognitions that we have. So I believe this is a triangle up and triangle down, double bottom, double top, double bottom, triple tops and bottoms, so on and so forth, head and shoulders, all those there, all right? We can see some alert chart patterns are graded by the amount of time covered in chart pattern. Crossing a support line, which has been active for 1 day, is interesting. Crossing a support line, which has been active for 2 days, is more interesting. Crossing a support line, which has been active for an hour, not as interesting. This time is measured by hours of trading. Normally, there are 6.5 hours from open to close, but what about pre and post market? If I see a pattern that lasted from noon yesterday to noon today, is that better than a pattern that lasted from the open of this morning to the close of this afternoon? How much better? So these are all subjective questions, a lot of them, all right? And so you can go on to the rest of the description in your own leisure, but this is what these alert filters mean versus the window-specific filters, and getting into some of the fancy stuff in our scan building. I will tell you this, there are users that have some of the most simplistic scans on this planet that kill it. There are users that have some of the most complicated scans on this planet and they can't make $1 and they're canceling the subscription afterwards. There are users that have some of the most complicated scans on this planet and they are killing it as well. And there are users that have very simple scans and they couldn't trade their way out of a paper bag as well. Things become subjective to your trading plan, what you're looking for in setups, what you're looking for in charts. So when building a scan, make sure you're building it for these questions. What am I looking for? Why am I trading what I'm looking for? How do I share size? Why do I share size? Those things are complementary questions to scan building. Thanks. I have a layout which is unlocked, rearrange windows, and now I want the layout docked, layout, and save it. So, if you're trying to dock anything, sorry, I'm jumping a little bit all over the place here. If you're trying to dock anything, if you got a free floating window like this, go ahead, right click, duplicate into new dock window. All right. Then you'll have it into, damn you, docking. Ugh. Sorry, give me 1 second here. It'll bring you into a new docked window like this, and then just start duplicating everything in that same new docked window. To rename the dock window, right click, go to change title, and then, name it new test, this, that, whatever you want to call it. And then you can start to duplicate everything into that. See, new this, that test, and I can start to duplicate everything into that one, and you'll see they're tabbed for now, but then I can start to take things and rearrange them however I want, make it look all nice and fancy and professional and all those things like that. All right. And then, if I wanted the single stock window that I had here, and duplicate again into new this, that, and there that is. And if I wanted this other scan in here, same thing. And then I can bring it like this. And if, I wanted to duplicate these charts into there we go. And now that chart's in here. All right. And if I wanted this chart to live up here on its own, I could do this. And I could say, no, I want this chart to be all by itself, all the way at the top. And I can bring this to the side like that and bring this over like this. Now the chart is going to be all on its own up there, so there's, unlimited combinations that we can do for that. All right. But that's how you get, that's how you do that for that. So let's see. Is it possible to create scanner setup like this? I'd like to see more of these today. AMC 5 minutes. So,
yeah, I could not. Sorry, I could not attach the picture. I had to actually.
No, you don't have to worry about attaching anything. This is what the beauty is here. So we can take two different things, and this is going to be great for helping everybody back engineer scans. Our website, which I'm told today is going to be getting a whole new makeover, which will be interesting. Give me 1 second. Just want to duplicate this tab. Here we go. All right. So on our website, if we go to support and we go to traders area and we go to stocks like this, all right, I can take AMC and give me a time frame that you were looking at AMC. Give me a time today.
Just 1 second. It was around 12:40 p.m. Eastern.
12:40. Beautiful. We're going to go 12. We're going to go 40 Eastern, and we're going to get a 5-minute snapshot of every single alert that was triggered and every single filter statistic of AMC at that time. We click submit. What do you mean no results were found? Tuesday, May 3rd, 12:40 AMC. Why are you screwing with me? Making me look bad. AMC. Am I crazy? Am I doing this wrong? 12:40 Eastern, Tuesday, May 3rd. Why am I not getting? The server must not be updating. Well, that's a terrible example, Chris. The idea behind this is, I don't know why AMC is not updating there. That's odd. I can illustrate it with Apple for some reason. What I'm trying to illustrate to you is this stock's like this page, but now obviously it's not going to do what I wanted it to do. But here's
yeah, you can kind of see on a chart if you move the window to the left a little bit. What it did basically, you had multi time frame alignment on the 5 minute and 1 hour chart. There was a double bottom on the 1 hour chart and also on 5 minute chart, and then around 12:40 12:45 it just took off like crazy. That was like a $1 scalp that I missed.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to illustrate here is what went on with all those filters at that time. This really sucks that this is not showing the AMC. The GME probably did the same thing, because I mean those two are first cousins and everything they do. All right, so very similar. Let me see if I can get GME. Unbelievable. I'm not going to message anybody now because they won't be able to help me. What I'm trying to illustrate to you is back engineering the scan of what happened at that time. So you could say, all right, the 1 minute volume was doing this, had this position in today's range, so on and so forth. That's why, just if I can bring anything up. Again, Apple, why is Apple working and the other two aren't? You do get the picture of what I'm trying to show here though, right?
Yes.
So we can back engineer, and then, I can take the ones that I like, for example, and I could say, all right, let's look at this 5 minute volume. I want to, let's put that in here. All right. And put a check mark there. And I could say, let's see, change, because the change is really good, so change in 2 minutes on percent, and maybe because it made a big move in those 2 minutes, but the move was going to continue, and so I'm using that filter. And let's see if it was an RSI, it's a 2 minute RSI was really taking off, and then we want an alert, and let's say it was an upward thrust of 15 minutes. All right. So now I've clicked all those, ready? And I can go like this, scroll down to the bottom, and I can say copy to configure window. All right. And selected. Now it's going to bring me to this page here.
Okay.
I can take this URL up here. I'm going to copy that. All right. And I'm going to go to File, New, Alert window. I'm going to press OK. Now watch this. We're going to go to Collaborate. I'm going to get rid of the URL that's in there. I'm going to paste this URL in here. Click OK. And this should give me that whole thing we just built. So that upward thrust and all that. And summary, stocks like Apple. Now I want to do that with AMC for you. I don't know why that's not loading the server data from there. And now we could also do this. We can say, all right, while I want it to be similar to that, maybe I don't want the filters exactly like this. I mean, look how narrow that RSI range is. And so now I can open it up a little bit, and I can say, well, what if I was at a 50 here, and, it's at let's say a 60 here, and so just to give me a little broader range of stocks that had a similar set of stats at the time, that if we were pretending this was AMC, went like that. So just to give you a way to back engineer, and you're not limited to obviously the filters I just showed you. We can go back and we can go through, there's 500 different data sets here to go through between the filters and the alerts. Now, obviously, all 500 aren't going to be triggered. Only X amount of alerts will have been triggered, so on and so forth. And, what you might want to do while you're doing a trial and error with this is maybe select a couple of different alerts to try to get different triggers, because the way this works is the event has to happen while the filters are satisfied. So it's this happened while these were happening type of items. This alert happened, this event happened while these criteria were satisfied. And so to get you a back engineered way on that. Now, just to mess around, let's look at AMC. And this is where, this gets not fun for me, because it's almost 4:30 and, I could do this all day, but I don't have time all day, unfortunately. Now let's look at AMC. So we're looking at that 12:40 time. All right. Now let's look at what was really going on in this chart. All right. We gapped down. All right. And we were moving down on the day, and then it caught and moved up. All right. And we can see here that it caught this 20 SMA on a 15-minute chart. Now, do we have all these filters? I don't know, but we can certainly look to see what's close. All right, we can see that a big move was coming in, big volume was coming in. So one of the things we want to do if we're trying to build something like this, we're going to come into configure, we're going to build this out like this. All right. It doesn't matter if the stock's up or down for the day, because if we won't catch something like this, because it had moved down on the day, and it not only down on the day, it moved down from yesterday and it moved down from the close. So let's leave it like that. We know where we're dealing with a liquid stock. We've got a price range. Let's keep it $5 to $100. All right. Mm-hmm. We had a big move in 2 minutes here, but an alert window we can actually nail down to a 1 minute change. We can type, that will help. All right, on a percent. And let's add that filter, and let's just say, how big of a change did we have at that time? Of course, AMC, you're freaking killing me on the stocks like this thing. Sorry, I'm really trying to understand why AMC is not working. Okay, I can get it at 9:30. Can't get it at 12:30. Get it at 12. Get it at 11. 10. Interesting. All right, let's throw this 1 minute in there. I'm just going to give it a 1% for now, but you'll see why I want to do that now in a moment. Columns, change, 1 minute. Let's get a 2 minute RSI, because we're trying to find stuff that's kind of spiking. And the other thing is we have to find the alert, the trigger. Obviously, we can't be looking at a new high on the day here. All right. Because we don't take out a high of the day until up here,
right,
on that move. So we're missing out that 30 minutes plus whatever time it finally took it out there on this candle. So, we're talking upwards of 40 minutes that we're missing out on time. So let's look at, things that are likely to have triggered. So my two go-to are 5 minute high. So let's add that alert. All right. And I'm going to leave this crossed above resistance because, if you ask me, looking back in time, that looks like there was some resistance in this area here. And maybe we get a trigger there. So what we're going to do right now is almost the stocks like this page, but we're going to point this only at AMC, single stock, AMC. We're going to manipulate the system. And we're going to say, I want you to tell me what happened on the relative volume in this time, I don't care about the change from open and close. That doesn't matter to me. I want to know what the 2-minute RSI was doing, because this is, I'm just guessing this is how I'm going to build a spike scan based on what AMC did. What else do we want to look at here? We're building a stocks like this template right now live. Search. Let's go with looking at any other alerts we want to add to this here. We can go with a 1-minute volume spike. Let's add that alert. Let's go with consolidate strong volume. Let's add this alert. We'll add the 15-minute thrust upwards. All right, let's get back to, in fact, we don't even need those filters there whatsoever. Those other ones won't matter. We're going to leave all these filters blank. We're just going to add them as columns. Then we're going to look at the data that came through. All right, because we're only looking at AMC. So let's get ourselves a 1-minute volume. Let's show that column. Let's get ourselves, trying to find things that are going to be interesting for us. Gap is irrelevant. Maybe we want a 1-minute candles consecutive. Let's add that column. You're going to see what the master plan is behind this in 1 second. We've got to change 1 minute in there. Maybe let's go with the change 5-minute percent also. Let's show that column. Let's go with, where's VWAP? Let's go with the distance from VWAP 1. Let's show that column. Let's go with, got some RSI in there already. Let's go with, let's see, SMAs. Maybe we want to look at a 10 period on a 2-minute chart. Let's show that column. Let's get one more column in there. Got a lot of data going on here. Let's go with a 20 period on a 15, because we saw how nice it cradled it here. All right. And let's show that column. Now we're going to press OK. And all we've done is we have this blank set of items here. All right. Looking at only AMC, and we're going to run the history on AMC with those alerts and those columns to show us what all that data was. All right. And we're going to expand out columns. Bear with me one more moment here. Change 1 minute, RSI, volume, 5-minute, distance from VWAP. We're not limited to these columns. You know, we can do whatever, we could add 1,000 columns or whatever we want. All right. Now we're going to run the history on this today. Now, no server data for AMC today. That's what's going on. Unbelievable. Taking the wind right out of my sail. Boy, I want to curse right now.
I didn't see anything similar. So I created my trade ideas flexible window, free floating window, and I have a bunch of different alert windows that I created just to play with it.
Yeah.
Most of them unfortunately fail miserably when I try to do back testing. But the only other thing that was fairly close to AMC today was Lucid. Try Lucid.
There we go.
Lucid,
I don't know why that blocked that.
Oh, okay. It working now?
Yes. Well, kind of. The AMC data cuts out after 10:35 this morning. So it looks like I have a server issue to look at. You know, some days just be like that, dog.
Well, you know, it happens to all of us.
A little frustrating to put this clinic on right here. What I'm trying to show you is, you know, we could go back and we could see if this would come through at the times that I needed to, because obviously this is making 5-minute highs in here. That's a 5-minute high, you know?
Right.
So we should be getting alerts all in here, and we can see that it cut out right after there. So something's happened on our server side. And what I want to show you is we could go back and we could see what this stock was doing exactly then, and how, you know, how we could take these items. And these are all, you know, what I chose here. My idea behind this is these are all things that you want to look at for stocks that are spiking: a 1-minute change, a 2-minute RSI, you know, 1-minute volume, consecutive 1-minute candles, change, you know, here, these RSIs, these SMAs. All these are things that if I was building a spike scanner or something that's spiking up, I'm trying to catch it as early as possible. These are the things that I would be looking at. So obviously, you know, we've got an issue here with that. Do you have anybody else throw out an idea of because I have to wrap this up, unfortunately, in a minute. Any other stocks that really spiked like this today that's not AMC or GME? I looked at almost nothing in the market today. I've been doing support nonstop, so I can't even begin to tell you if something did a big move at all. Configure. So, all right, first I'm going to share this out with you folks so everybody can take this and they can start to use it. And hopefully everything that I said made sense, that you can use this exercise going forward if this is the kind of scanner you want to build. So copy. I'm going to paste here. And I'm going to paste here. BMV. Thank you, Perfect Circle. So right click, configure. This better work, otherwise I'm going to lose it on the data side. B and V. Of course, you want to screw with me, BMV. There we go. All right. History today. Oh, BWV. Sorry, I didn't see you corrected. I swear, folks, we'll get this right here. When you're changing the single symbol, you got to go click all symbols and click single symbol again. BWV. There we go. Now right click, history today. And we were getting every single alert, up to 1,000 alerts essentially. So let's look here at 12:30, what was going on there. Hopefully it goes back that far. If not, I'll click the more button and we'll get more data. Okay, so see how it says more available here? I can right click on the history. I can go more. Now it'll start at that 249 where it left off. And more available still. Let's go one more. And so this is very similar to what GME did today and AMC did. Here we go. And so now we can see at that 12:30 area, these alerts all triggered in this time. All right. And we could add more alerts to this too. All right. But these are just ones that I would want to look for something to catch something early. I mean, we even could have caught this, you know, probably earlier back here in this 11 o'clock hour. But the real move was, you know, this big move. I think that was the one that everybody would want to catch around that $4 range at that 12:30 level. And so look, we can see it caught a 5-minute high at 12:27. All right. It caught this this 1-minute volume spike here. All right. And so those are the two alerts that really caught it. And again, the 5-minute alerts again on that candle. You know, we get it earlier on some of these other ones in here too. There's, you know, strong volume back here at 12:02. So now we can see these different alerts that it caught, the events, and then we can see when those events occurred. So we can see that, you know, the relative volume wasn't doing anything too crazy at this point, to be honest with you. All right. You know, but watch as we go up through the day, that relative volume starts to really cruise as we could see the volume increasing through the day here as well. All right. So keep these things in mind. All right. And we can see what the 1 minute change was at any one of these points. We can see what the 1 minute volume was. So we can see that, when this thing first started really making a move here at, let's say, even 12:25, the 1 minute volume wasn't anything crazy in here. All right. And so it becomes that fine line of how much do we want to open up that fire hose? Because the more we open up the filters, the more stocks come through. And when I mean open it up, having a 1 minute volume at 100 is wide open versus having a 1 minute volume at 1000. That's narrowing down our data set like that. And so it's finding those happy medium areas, because we're always going to get alerts that we didn't want, but we also want to make sure we get the alerts that we did want. And it's getting that balance between what I want and what I don't want. And again, consecutive candles didn't do us any good all through here. Look at this whole time frame going back over to 15 minutes. Consecutive 1 minute candles meant nothing to us at that time. So that's something maybe we realize that's not data that we want for this kind of scan. All right. We can see the distance from the VWAP though is really getting extended from the VWAP at this point. All right. And so maybe finding stocks that are increase incoming volume with a distance from that VWAP, that's something we want to be looking at. The distance from that 10 period SMA on a 2 minute chart, again, wasn't really telling us anything here. But the distance here on that 15-minute chart was telling us a whole lot here, all right, that it was extended off of that with volume coming in and it kept moving up, all right? So that's what I'm trying to illustrate here is how we took this, and I've shared that template, all right, with you folks. And you can come back in here, come into configure, and you can say it in the columns. You could say, you know what? I didn't care for the 1 minute candle stuff here. Where is that 1 minute candle? So I can select it, boom, got rid of that. Maybe I want to look at Bollinger Bands instead. I want to add that. All right. So position in those 5 minute Bollinger Bands. Let's add that column. All right. And we can press OK. And then we can bring that data in instead, and we can rerun the history and so on and so forth. And so that's how I point you towards building something like that. Yes, Rachel, you'll be able to rewatch this on our YouTube channel. So that's going to really lead me to the end of this. I actually have coach a softball team here in town for the kids. So I have to get ready to leave for that in a few moments, to be honest. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk you through a whole bunch of stuff for our education. All right. Let's start with being on our homepage. All right. Sorry, just getting their homepage up. Duplicate. All right. So let's start with on our homepage here in this educations tab. All right. The first thing I want to bring to everybody's thing is, we're trade ideas. So we're looking for idea generation. We want to help you make quality idea generation, but you need to know what you're looking for. So what do I want to scan for, so on and so forth. We can help you build templates. And who was it, Mike, that I was just talking with? We were talking about AMC. I think that was Mike. Whoever.
That was Adam.
Oh, Adam. I'm sorry. Okay. So if you can, send us an email to that support@trade-ideas.com and say, I was working with Chris a little bit, just wondering if you might be able to get me a template based on what AMC did at this time. And it'll either be me or Stephanie or someone like that can certainly get you a template together, after hours tonight or tomorrow morning or something like that. If you want, I also, implore you to work the exercise that we just did too, but we certainly can get you a template together like that. But what I'm going at is, that we're trade ideas, we're idea generation. We can help you generate those ideas. From there, you have to figure out how to execute those ideas. So I understand everybody's coming from different walks. Look, I knew nothing about trading stocks at the beginning of 2017. In April of 2017, I discovered trade ideas. I subscribed in the summer of 2017. Here I am working for them. I do okay trading. I am no guru. I'm not making $1,000 a trade or anything like that, but I'm earning a reasonable living, something that's given me freedom. Just happened to be lucky enough that Trade Ideas also offered me a position to do what I'm doing here. My point being is that we have all this education in this education tab that goes not only about scan building live and things like that, but you've got people like Michael Noss, who did this back to basics that literally starts with what is a stock, literally starts with what is a stock here, right? And goes all the way into artificial intelligence, some fundamentals, trends, support and resistance, candlesticks, an unbelievable wealth of knowledge. We get out of things what we put into them. You're looking for the quick, fast money. and you don't want to put the work in. And this isn't directed at anybody. This is just, because I don't know who will ever stumble across this video. We work with what we get out of it, and I also go back to, look, if you decide that, yes, Trade Ideas was for me, but maybe I need to cover some more basics before I can get here, unsubscribe, come to all the free education, then resubscribe again when you got more education. There's nothing wrong with that. My goal is to stick Trade Ideas into everybody's computer, but it only works if you're getting, you're making money. That's it. So all this stuff is in here. There's all these different videos. Daily webinars that go on live bi-weekly. This week is Tuesday, Thursday. Next week will be Monday, Wednesdays. Show up to these things. They're all recorded. I'm going to get into where you can find all these recordings. Barry in the Traders Room. All right. Barry doesn't go into as adept at going over stuff like I do, but hang out there. All right. You're going to learn stuff there if you can. If you want to subscribe to other people's paid rooms, that's your prerogative. Do what you like. All right, daily support sessions, the YouTube side of things, because I'm broadcasting on YouTube with Zoom right now. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm not on Zoom. I'm only on this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, okay? You'll find me here on those Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Perhaps I'm going to start to move everything over to Zoom at the same time to get more people in here. And, oh, yes, that spike scan type of thing. There it is. Sorry, I didn't put it in the YouTube chat before. There it goes like that. And I shared it. Yeah, I shared it there and there. Okay. So I'm there live 5 days a week on the YouTube side of stuff. All right. This is the Zoom one, getting started in here. Our user's guide. It's searchable. You come in here. All right. You come, full table of contents. You can search anything in here. Like I said, context matters. So if you don't know what the difference between alert windows and alert windows and topless are, it won't help you. But coming to these and our getting started videos, if you haven't watched those getting started videos, that's not the getting started video. That's not the getting started video. Where are getting started videos? I'm going to drop a link for getting started videos here in 1 second. Sorry, I'm just trying to find this damn link. Because I can't seem to find. All right. These start with some of the most basic stuff. So probably a lot of you are skipping the basic stuff that's in here. But, it goes over the difference of alert windows and topless. All right. These are simple things, but without context, it won't make any sense. So some very short videos to go over in there. All right. In all this here. Now on our YouTube page. All right. YouTube Trade Ideas. All right. Here's our YouTube page. All right. I'm going to drop the YouTube page link in here. Please like, subscribe, do all those wonderful things to help us get the algorithm loving us. All right. That's my favorite ask of you. If you come to videos, everything is chronologically ordered and put here as we put them up. All right. So when I'm all done here later, this will come up. It's going to be somewhere in here, and you'll see getting started with Trade Ideas, and it'll be called that. Barry also has the room that's streamed all day that's recorded and put here. So on days where I don't do Zoom and I just take over Barry's stream, like yesterday, it's one giant 7-8 hours here, where today was only just over 6 hours, or just short of 7 hours here. All right. So that's where you'll find all these recordings like there. You can go and fast forward to wherever you want in those videos like that. So, hopefully you all got a little something out of this. An hour, sometimes it feels like an hour drags because no one's asking questions. Sometimes it feels like an hour is not enough, even with just 1 or 2 great questions like we had today. So hopefully that all worked out. I implore you folks, please come back tomorrow. Tomorrow won't be on Zoom. It'll be on YouTube. I'll take over Barry's stream at 3:30 tomorrow Eastern. Please, please, please come hang out there. I will see about getting it so that we can get this on Zoom and YouTube every day. All right. And I'll enable mics as long as it's a small group like this. I'll enable mics just like I did here. And, let you folks really get at it with the mics. When there's 50 people in here, getting 50 people talking at once, not possible. like I said, 90 people signed up today. On Zoom side, 8 of you showed up. So when it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, heck, 15 people, I think I can enable mics. When we start getting over that, then, you know, I think we got to keep it to a chat side of things. But as you know, for now, this Zoom thing is an experiment. You know, I don't know how long Trade Ideas will pay for it for. I think that will depend on, you know, the money inflow from this and getting people to stop canceling their subscriptions. So again, I thank you all very much. This isn't done without a community. We don't exist without you folks. And that's why I try to go live and do as much education as I physically can to get you all the most out of the software. So again, I thank you all very, very kindly for popping in. If there's a question we didn't get to, always here, I'm going to type it out again, support@trade-ideas.com. All right, right there. Type that into Zoom. Get it into YouTube as well. All right, so hit us there after hours. We never dodge or duck questions or anything like that. Some take us longer to get to than others, depending on the complexity of them and, you know, items of that nature. We will get to them all. So I'm gotta wrap it up there. I just never seem to have enough time when we're interacting well. So stop the screen sharing. And again, I thank you all folks very much. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday wherever you are. And I hope to catch all of you and more back here tomorrow. All right, folks.